I'm sitting here mulling over how best to set up my system for this. What I'm going to do is after this live stream, I'll of course publish the video, and then I'll send out a note to those that both attended, you guys, as well as those who watch the video after, and ask them if they think it's worth their time. And if it is, then I'll set this up better. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. So welcome to the very first Business 1050 Foundations of Business Thought live stream. Of course, a few of you are in my lecture class. Fantabulous, that's great. But the real intent of this, and don't worry, I'll make it worth your while, but the real intent of this live stream is to help the online students who are not here for lectures, can't ask questions very easily anyway, and might have a little difficult time kind of understanding how to bring the readings into the larger whole. So what I'm going to do in this is I am going to go over a lot of the materials that, or go over some materials that cover the readings and kind of talk through a little bit. Now, for those of you playing at home, I want to show you something. All the materials that I show you today, you can access. Let me show you how. If we come over here to Canvas, right? And let's see here. No, I did not put it in here. Okay, I'm going to take you somewhere else. I'm going to take you to a place called My Course Hub. Write this down. It's mycoursehub.net. We see it right here, mycoursehub.net. And no spaces, you know the deal. mycoursehub.net. And if we come here, we see something called Learning Resources. So I'm going to click on Learning Resources. And lo and behold, I know it's over here for me, it's over there for you. It's confusing. I'll get it better next time. We click right here on Business 1050. That's who you are. And all of these are the presentations that I am going to go over. So today we're going to go over real quick, presentations around alienated labor, on labor, and Mike LeFevre, steelworker. So of course, you're going to have this video because I'm going to post this video on YouTube. But if later on you want to go back and reference some of the things that we talked about here, you totally can. Okay? So that's some stuff for you. Hey, Sean, glad you're with us. Fantastic. Okay, so with that, let's get into the good stuff. So let's talk alienated labor. Here's the idea, guys. In this course, we've been building up to better understand this system that we live in called capitalism, this economic system. And so through the readings that we've been going over, we've kind of learned about the profit motive, and we've learned about free markets and laissez-faire and how capital can be used to create additional wealth. And then last week, you read about the invisible hand with Adam Smith. And we're actually going to talk more about Adam Smith today because, as you know, he's kind of the father of modern economics. Interesting note, though, he's not an economist. He's a moral philosopher. And because he's a moral philosopher, he has a lot to say about a lot of things, and we're going to explore that today. So we've been introduced to capitalism. It's the system we live in now. Of course, we don't live in pure capitalism. David Potter helped us understand that the American form of capitalism really makes sure that we have open opportunity for as many people as possible, and that our standard of living is ever increasing, and that everybody has access to capital. And so here in the U.S., we have tweaked capitalism to meet our individual needs. Well, glitching a bit, it's going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad. Thank you, Ethan. So here's the thing, though. Capitalism isn't the only economic system, and it is a flawed system. Mind you, All systems are flawed. Capitalism is fantastic. I'm a big fan. I have benefited greatly from capitalism, as has the United States and the rest of the world. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean that it doesn't have its flaws. And in fact, both Karl Marx and, lo and behold, Adam Smith point out the flaws of capitalism. And that's what we talk about in this module. Now, if you are a red-blooded American grown up here in the good old US of A, you know that you've been required by law to, act like you've seen a vampire when you hear the word Karl Marx. But in fact, Karl Marx and Adam Smith agree on many, many things when it comes to the problems of capitalism. And they, problems that still exist today. What they disagree on animately is the solution. So Adam Smith, Karl Marx, they could totally agree on the problems. They disagree on the solution. So we're going to start with Karl Marx. Let's go ahead and take a look at some things here. So what Karl Marx, we're gonna fly through this. This is for my lecture class. When you go through Canvas, you will see that there are these 3 videos linked in Canvas regarding Karl Marx. Okay? Here's a tip. All right? Listen closely. If you watch these videos, yes, they're short, and you reference the video that we're doing right now, and you pull up this PowerPoint presentation, you can skip the readings. There, you were just rewarded for attending this live stream and for watching it. Skip the readings. All you need to do is watch these videos, reference what we're talking about here and this PowerPoint, and you're going to be totally good. Okay? You're welcome. All right, so let's move on. So one of the things that Karl Marx really talked about is what he called alienation, right? Worker alienation from the work. Now, there's 4 types of alienation that Karl Marx is talking about. Here's the thing. Here's the idea is if I'm a baker, and you're welcome, Drew. If I'm a baker, I love making bread. I get in there, I knead it up, I make the bread, and I can smell it, and I'm putting in my special sauce. I know, it's not sauce, it's spices. And that bread reflects me. It is who I am. I can put myself in that bread and really make it something that I can be proud of. And then when I watch somebody eat it, oh my gosh, I'm totally proud. Well, that's great until mass production comes along. Workers are no longer making bread. It's now your job to push the button that turns on the machine. What do you want me to do, boss? Push the button that turns on the machine. Push the button that turns on the machine. Push the button that turns off the machine. That's all I'm doing. I'm not a baker. I'm just working this machine. And so Karl Marx says this is a problem because we become separated from our labor. The things that we really love about what we do, we're no longer there. And so we're separated from it. Furthermore, if I'm a baker and I'm making this bread and I sell it, I get the profits. Woo, woo. I get the money because I made it. I sold it. I get the profits. Not now. Now I push the button that turns on the machine. So who gets the profits? The guy who owns the machine. The guy who owns the factory. And so people are out there eating bread, but it's not my bread, and I didn't get paid for it. So that's alienation from the product. Then Karl Marx is also concerned about alienation from our own labor. Okay? The thing is, if I'm making bread, I'm pulling together the ingredients, I'm choosing them, I'm dumping them all together, I'm working them, I'm getting all into it, I'm sweating, I'm getting up at 3 a.m. to make the donuts, right? But now, I'm just doing this one simple repetitive task. one simple, repetitive task over and over and over and over. I get no sense of fulfillment from this one simple, repetitive task. And furthermore, when I see bread come out on the other end, I don't really see how that bread is something I created. I just did this thing, right? So I used to work for Intel Corporation, and we would make chips, the chips that are inside these computers that are letting us do this. But we had 80,000 employees. They're not all making chips. I wasn't making chips. I was working for HR, communications, all that good stuff, and I loved it. But it was hard for me to kind of see how I fit into the big picture, all right? And furthermore, especially back in Karl Marx's day, the people who are out there doing all this work can't even afford the things that they're making. So it's alienation from our labor. Now, there's also alienation from others. Since I am not collaborating on a human level, all I'm doing is pushing a button, pull the lever, push the button, pull the lever, push the button, pull the lever. And all the other people in the whole factory, all around, they're doing their own little things. These are totally abstract actions. They're not craftsmen. They're not artists. They're not creators. We're all doing these very simple, repetitive actions, and it's very abstract from what we're creating. And so we don't really feel like we're connecting with each other, like we're creating something in concert, like we are all collaborating together to make something real. And so it separates people. Furthermore, we start to compete with each other, right? In bad ways. We know that we can be replaced at any moment, and so we want to make sure it's the other guy who's replaced, not us. And so it kind of puts us at odds with one another. And then we have, and this is important, guys, this is important. This is still a problem today. All these are still a problem today, but especially this one. Alienation from oneself. Now, one of the things that Karl Marx taught, and that I am a strong believer in, is that labor fulfills our species' essence. Now, that sounds pretty profound, but let me explain what that means. Work is where we get to innovate, create, problem solve, collaborate together, build meaningful relationships, and create something spectacular such that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. This whole world that we live in, this internet that we play with, all this stuff is because some really driven, intelligent, innovative people sat down and got to work. And they look at their work and they are proud. And I am proud of the work I do when I feel really good about it. But now here's the thing. If all I'm doing is these simple repetitive tasks that don't really involve any innovation or anything, you know what? I'm not fulfilled, right? It says, Sean is saying here, it helps when we labor in something we have a passion for. Absolutely. And who has a passion for push the button, pull the lever, look left? Push the button, pull the lever, look left. There's no passion there. A baker has passion. A director has passion. An architect has passion. But somebody just doing these menial tasks, no, it's not there. Okay? So this is what Karl Marx is really concerned about. Now, this is Karl Marx getting all up in the face of capitalism. Now, go ahead and watch those videos. Those videos are very good, and they are going to help you understand at a deeper level what Marx was all talking about. And much of the videos are taken from the reading, and so it's just another way to consume them. So that's the reading about Karl Marx. But let's then look at, bear with me. Okay, on labor. Okay, now we're looking at Adam Smith. Okay, now remember, Adam Smith is the father of modern economics, right? And he's kind of the godfather of capitalism. So surely he's going to say, oh, capitalism is fantastic, get out of the way, it's going to be great. No. Remember, he is a moral philosopher, which means he'll call out the bad just as much as call out the good. So check out some of the things that Adam Smith said. And I really want you, now one of the reasons I say that you can just get the material from these presentations and stuff is because the real key points are right here, all right? But I'm going to read this just because, oh, there's an echo going on. I'm sorry, I don't know what that would be. I only see one pickup over here. Let's see, your voice is echoing. Oh, I wonder what that is. I really apologize, I don't know what that would be, but it sounds like Sean is getting the echo and Ethan is getting the echo. Let me see if I can shut anything else down that is not needed, just to make absolutely certain. Yeah, I'm not seeing another microphone. I apologize, guys. What I will do is after this, yeah, it sounds like everybody's getting an echo. Well, I've done enough of these things, or at least I've attended enough to know that an echo will absolutely drive you bat crazy, okay? So this is what I'm going to invite you to do. Remember, I showed you where these presentations are, right? I'm going to pull this one up. Pull up this presentation, read this section on what Adam Smith has to say about capitalism, and then what you want to do is this. You want to take a look at why he feels that even though there's contention between the owners and the laborers, the owners are always going to win, and he's concerned about this. So he calls it the masters will prevail. Read this section in the presentation on why the masters will prevail. And yeah, Juan, it sounds like everybody's getting an echo, so I'm going to just wrap this up. He talks about the 4 reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 reasons why the masters will always prevail. What you want to do is pull up this presentation from Course Hub. Oh, Vanessa says it's getting better. It's subsiding. Oh my gosh, guys. It's still a little bit of an echo. Okay, this is the second time I've done a who's a what's it? One of these live casts, so I'm going to have to work on this. So thank you for calling that out. You'll want to take a look at these and see what Adam Smith was saying. Yeah, live stream. You're right, live stream. Remember when I said League of Nations when it's really League of Legends in one of my videos? Yeah, I'm an idiot. Okay, so we're getting low on time, so I want to show you the final presentation that you'll want to look at and get an understanding for. So what we've done is I gave you a quick overview of Karl Marx. I gave you a quick overview of Karl Marx and what alienation is all about, alienated labor. You are going to watch those 3 videos on Karl Marx. When you do that, you will have a very good understanding where he's coming from. You will then pull up the presentation or watch this video and just hit pause on each one of those presentation slides, where Adam Smith is talking about the problems of capitalism. So like Sean says, Adam Smith on capitalism. Right, exactly. Adam Smith on capitalism, especially that one slide where he talks in detail, that great big letter, word chart slide, because that one, he really gets to the core of the message. Okay, that gives you the 3rd reading. I told you, you don't have to worry about the readings for Karl Marx or for Adam Smith, because these presentations and videos will take care of it. But I really invite you to read Mike LeFevre's Steelworker. It is such a great reading. Oh my gosh. because what this dude is a modern day personification of what Karl Marx is talking about. If you want a perfect example of somebody who is alienated from his job, this be the guy. And he's fantastic. This was in an interview that Studs Terkel did back in the 1970s. And I'll just kind of take you through some of the key points. Mike LeFevre, and these are all quotes from the reading. I'm a dying breed, a laborer, strictly muscle work. Pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. He's everything that Karl Marx was talking about, just a strict laborer, right? Well then, how does he kind of exemplify what Karl Marx is talking about? Well, he doesn't really feel like he's getting his species essence from his work. I got chewed out by my foreman once. He said, "Mike, you're a good worker, but you have a bad attitude." My attitude is that I don't get excited about my job. I do my work, but I don't say whoop-de-doo. The day I get excited about my job is the day I go to a head shrinker. How are you going to get excited about pulling steel? I love that. It's exactly what Karl Marx is talking about when he says alienated from ourselves. He doesn't have life fulfillment. It's like you said earlier, it helps when you have passion. He doesn't have passion about pulling steel. He's also alienated from the product, just like Karl Marx talked about. You can't take pride anymore. You remember when a guy could point out a house he built, how many logs he stacked. He built it and was proud of it. It's hard to take pride in a bridge you're never going to cross or a door you're never going to open. You're mass producing things and you never see the end result of it. He's dead on right. Then we have, I'll keep going here because we're short on time. I'm just going to take half hour of your time, so I've got 6 minutes. Alienation from one's own work, we see from Mike LeFevre as well. Somebody's going to build something, pyramids, Empire State Building. These things just don't happen. There's hard work behind it. I'd like to see a building, say the Empire State Building. I'd like to see one side of it with a foot-wide strip from top to bottom with the name of every bricklayer, the name of every electrician, with all the names. So when a guy walked by, he could take his son and say, "See, that's me over on this, 45th floor. I pulled the steel beam on it." Picasso can point to a painting. What can I point to? A writer can point to a book. Everybody should have something to point to. Oh my gosh. Mike LeFevre, he's a down and dirty, Chicago steel man. But let me tell you what, he's a philosopher. He's a philosopher at heart. He also talks about alienation from others. So you'll want to take a look at that. And so, like I say, and we're at our time or just about, what I strongly recommend you do is, let me pull it up over here. You know what? I'm going to open a new one. Sorry about this, guys. Remember, you want to, here we go. You want to go to mycoursehub.net. mycoursehub.net. You come here and we hit right here, Business 1050. And then you scroll on down. And here are the presentations we went through, as well as some additional information in there. We didn't go through all the slides. I can't do a 1-week lecture in 30 minutes, but I can at least point you in the right direction. If you go through the materials in these presentations and in this, what we've talked about here, watch the videos that I point out to you, and read Mike LeFevre, Steelworker, you'll be glad you did. Then you will knock this module out of the park. Plain and simple. Okay? So, let me take a look at a couple of comments here. So, Sean, I feel like this is very applicable in today's society. I see where a lot of people feel alienated in their jobs, and that's why people job hop. You're dead on right. You're dead on right. And let me tell you, I'm half a century old. I've been in, I don't know, a dozen and a half jobs, and I could lose 3 of my fingers in a cotton picking accident and still be able to count on one hand the number of jobs I felt fulfilled in. Good news is this is one of them, so I'm in good shape. But most of us, yeah, we're just like Mike LeFevre, kind of alienated from the work and just trying to, muddle our way through life. That's why you're in school. That's why you're learning new skills, so you don't have to be, in that state the whole time. So, by the way, oh gosh, I guess I should have done this. You know what, guys? If you're still there and so forth, if you're still there, take a screen capture or take a picture. Oh my gosh, who takes a picture like this, right? Well, I guess if you have a real camera, I have a real camera right back here. Take a picture of this, send it to me. I'll get you some extra credit. Same thing goes if you're watching this after it's been published, okay? And then what I'm going to do, folks, is I'll send out a survey in a few days after a few folks have had a chance to watch this and ask if you felt like this was worth your time. If it's worth your time, if you felt that this was beneficial, I will invest more in this. I will figure out how to do it right. I will make sure that the presentations get the right information to you, and we'll kind of make this a little bit more of a regular thing. But I want to make sure it's worth your time, so you let me know. Sean, I'm glad you enjoyed this. Thank you very much. Like I say, I'm fulfilled in my job, so I freaking love doing this. But I want to make sure it's valuable for you. So, everyone, that is it. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. For those of you that are in my Business 2200 class, we'll be starting that up in 30 minutes, and we'll get into that. So, in the meantime, go ahead and drop off. I'm going to stay on in case any of you have questions. And Allie, I will watch more in the future when you have them. Good. I'm very glad to hear that. I'm going to stick around for questions, but otherwise, we're done. Have a good one, guys. We'll talk to you later. Let's say thanks, everyone. And like I say, if you have any questions, ask away. Otherwise, you can just drop on off and you'll be good. And I will get set up for the next one. I'll push the wrong button. There's the right button. Okay, do I know Edward Ng? I took Business 1050. Yeah, Ethan, you mentioned that. You mentioned that you took 1050 from him. And of course I know him.